What's up YouTube? Welcome to Traptrix in Depth Part 6, Siding to Break the Meta. And for this video, I'm focusing on the Snake Eye matchup, splitting it up into pure variant and Fire King build. Just like last video, I'm going to list some of the problems these decks bring, and first things first, let's talk about Boro Dragon, a common card in both lists. This card is easy summonable, it's really big, and it has a powerful effect against this deck. When it's on the board, it can target one of our monsters and put it in the spell and trap card zone, basically turning off Rafflesia or Serra for us for the duration of the game, because it's not easy getting those back. Now, fortunately for us, most of the players, they focus on their own plays and instead of countering the opponents, so that's always a thing, but that's something that can happen. And since they aren't going to the graveyard, you also can't get them back easily with things like Holtea. A second problem card in the deck is Promethean Princess. It is the sole reason that I don't play Parallel Exceed anymore in my main deck. The ability to easily get rid of my Serra on the summon is really annoying. For the Fire King variant specifically, Kirin is definitely a problem. Its hand effect dodges your hand traps in Veiler Imperm, and with its grave effect when it's destroyed, it can destroy anything without targeting, so that's really problematic. All in all, I'd say it's safe to say there's a reason why I choose to run so much grave disruption in this deck. Now let's get to the deck. So I've laid down my deck profile once again, so I can easily go over the siding patterns with you guys. One thing that I really want to show first is I've added 2 Pot of Prosperities right now. Again, I did tell it in my previous video that I might be going to do this. I cut 1 Cosmic Cyclone and I cut 1 Pudica. The idea is that not everyone is actually main decking Draw and Unlock because Snake Eye variants can actually play through it a bit. So Draw and Unlock, while it's still really powerful, it's not always in the meta, so there's the thing to say that Pot of Prosperity is actually usable again. And I thought that to up my consistency, this is definitely really great. I cut down 1 Pudica because I found it to be the least valuable of all the Traptrix monsters that I'm running. I was running 13, so now I'm running 12. It brings the percentage to see a Traptrix monster down with like 2 or 3%, but the fact that I'm playing double Pot of Prosperity now in the main deck actually ups that count again by like 10% or something, like just because these 2 are also in there. The fact that I cut the 3rd Cosmic Cyclone is a very simple statement. The pure Snake Eye build doesn't really hurt too much because of this card. It's mostly the Fire King build because you can banish the Fire King Island and it blows up their board. But the card is still really great in the fact that it can banish a field spell or the monster they're trying to resummon. It's also really good against things like the summon limits that are in the format, anti-spells, stuff like that. So I definitely wanted to keep these in the main deck. Labyrinth is really prevalent, so there's always that. So yeah, that's it for the little intermission. Now, the first thing that I'm going to talk about now is the siding patterns versus the pure Snake Eye build. And I am going to split up in going first or going second, because in this matchup, that's really important, seeing that I've already built my deck to counter Snake Eyes a lot. So yeah, so you're versing Snake Eyes and you're gonna go, you lost your game 1 somehow, and you're thinking, okay, what I'm gonna do, I need to up my consistency, some cards need to go out. So the thing that I always do against the pure Snake Eye build is when I'm going first, I take out the 2 Phantasmes, simply because of the fact that going first, you're not gonna be able to use them, so they're kind of dead cards in your hand. So I do take out the Phantasmes going first. In the pure Snake Eyes matchup, the thing that you, like in all the fire matchup, the thing that you need to think about is how are they going to side against you. And things that are going to come in for them are Lightning Storm, Cosmic Cyclone, evenly matched. Triple Tactics Talent is always a card that's good against Traptrix. Cards like that are going to come in against Traptrix, and they are going to side out the hand traps. So going first, like the Phantasmes, you take those out. I also like to take out the Cosmic Cyclones because they just play into Lightning Storm more. And also against the evenly, so I take these out going first, specifically post-siding, because then the board breaks are coming in. So these will also go out. And then one thing that I also like to take out going first is either a Ghost Bell or a DD Crow. Like, most of the time it's going to be a Ghost Bell, because I do really like the fact that with the DD Crow I can banish whatever that I see fit. While the Ghost Bell, they might be able to chain block this. So yeah, there's always a thing like that. You can also take out the Droll and Lockbird if you want to, but I do think this card is really great, especially in combination with our extra deck. So I often take out these 5. So against pure Snake Eyes, going first, I take out these 5, and I put in. So let's see. I put in the triple Parallel Exceed. And I also put in 1 Trust. It doesn't seem like a lot. And 1 different dimension ground. So the thing with this is it gives you 2 different dimension grounds. I don't like I really don't like putting in these anymore going first, like when you have 2, because I also brick so much on these. Like, I've had so many games where I sided these in and I opened them both going first, and in this deck it's really difficult. If you want to side in both thrusts, which is definitely a thing that you can do, just side out like another D-Crow or another Bell. Maybe make sure you have 1 of each, something like that. There's definitely a thing to be said about that. But yeah, that is how I side for going first, because with the triple Parallel Exceed, the 2 Prosperities, and your entire engine, you have so much, gas. Like, you're always going to see your engine, and you have so many cards still to stop the opponent, so you're probably going to win that because of that. Now, do keep in mind, when you are going first, post-siding, you want to be able to stop Evenly Match, stop Lightning Storm, stuff like that. Stop the triple Tactics Talents, maybe Trust if they side it in. So what I always try to do is to end on the Ptolemaeus combo post game 1. So in game 2, game 3, whenever I'm going first, I'm gonna try to end on the Ptolemaeus, because if you end on Ptolemaeus, you end on your Omni Negate, basically, on the Durandal. And that is the important part, because you can always go for your Arachnocampa combo to stop Lightning Storm, but if they have evenly, you just get wrecked, and then the Durandal is really important. Now, why am I siding the Trust with the ground? This just stops their turn completely. So if they have a hand trap on, like, for say a Mantis or Myrmelio, you might be able to still go off with Parallel Exceed, stuff like that. But if you have the Thrust or the ground as well, like, this is just game ending at that point. I might have to, like, I am thinking swapping some things up in my side deck, because I really, like, I have some problems with this package. I do like the double soul release, like double soul release is enough, but this is like performing weird sometimes, because it's only like 1 of each with the double Trust, and I'm not sold on Trusts at the moment, so that's kind of a problem for me now, but in general I still think it's fine. Maybe it's because I live in Europe and we don't have YCSs. That's the thing, of course. But yeah, that's how I side for going first against the Snake Eye matchup. Now, let's see for going second. So, build up the deck a bit again. So, we're having this. And this. So, whenever you're going second against the pure Snake Eye build, it's actually not that bad, because your main deck has been built specifically for that reason. And things that you might want to do is you want to side in some cards to break their break the follow-up, basically. So you want to side in the soul releases. You want to side in the talents in case they end on an Appaloosa, and you want to side in the double Trust. Like, you want to side in these 5. The reason for it is because going second, they obviously have their board, so thrust is never going to be dead. If you can play just a little bit, it's already fine. And that's something that you have to keep in mind. Now, what do I take out for going second? I often take out the prosperities to begin with, because like drawing these is just the same as drawing like this. You could keep in the prosperities because it gives you a bigger chance to go into the thrust, but you'd have to side out more hand traps or engine pieces, and that's always a problem in this deck. You need your engine to combat. You need your non-engine to stop the board in the first place. So there's always a strange mixture between hand traps and non-engine and the board breakers at that point. But I do like siding out the prosperities for one. I like siding out the one Vesiculo because it doesn't really contribute to your actual engine. And sometimes I even take out the Dionea because the one of the Dionea is still enough for your combo. Going second, if you can break the board and you have Soul Release, for instance, like you break their follow-up, then it doesn't matter. You don't need your second Dionea as follow-up. So this is something that you definitely can take out. Because you know you're going second, you have the double Phantasme as additional consistency, and you also have your 6th card for additional consistency, so that's always a thing. What can you also take out? Like because I'm siding in 5 cards. I often take out like one of the trap holes at that point. I don't really need all of the 6 to play with, and the Traptrix Trap Hole Nightmare in this matchup is definitely not really a great card. There's really nothing that you want to hit, and if you open this, it's just bad. So I side out these 5, and it seems weird because you're siding out 5 engine cards, and your engine is getting really small at this point, like 6, 8, 11. You only have 16 engine cards, and there's so many non-engine at this point. But you are going second with Traptrix. You have to keep this in mind. You can't always go second, and you have to stop the Snake Eye deck. It's crazy how much they can do. And if you have all of this, it's actually really possible to break their board. So going second, I side out these 5. In the Snake Eye matchup, I side in these 5. So if you have any play like a Mantis, a Myrmelio, they stop something, like your Thrust is live, your Talons becomes live, Soul Release just breaks their board, like all the follow-up that they can have, the Promethean Princess is grave, like anything that you need. The level 1s, so Flamberge can't do shit again. Yeah, it's things like that that actually win you the game. And then having all the hand traps is just... it's just needed. You need 3-4 hand traps sometimes to stop the opponent, and that's actually a thing. But I like having this as my deck going second against Snake Eye. So let's put these back. Like this. And then before we go into the Fire King matchup, I am going to talk a bit about my general game plan against Snake Eye, against Fire King. And it is all coming down to my extra deck. So I do have my hand traps, I have my engine, and the general plays are of course there. You want to hand trap your opponent, you want to Veiler or Imperm on the Snake Eye Ash. Because if you Veiler or Imperm that one, they can't get the Surge, and they can't get the special summon from the deck through the Ash. So that's always important. You want to chain draw unlock to the Poplar if they get to search it, because then they special summon it and they can't search anymore. The Fantastical Dragon Phantasme is to be used when they have 2 Link monsters, so you get to draw 3. But you have to look out if they have the Field spell from Snake Eye, then you might want to trigger Phantasme in beforehand, so they don't special summon from their spell and trap zone. It's a thing to keep in your mind, because they can follow up if you special summon the Phantasme, and sometimes you just want to drop it on the first Link monster because of that. Ash Blossom, I tend to keep that for the tribute effect to special summon from deck. It's really good to stop the Boro Dragon from coming out, which is a definite problem card in this deck. And you take away 2 bodies. So when 2 bodies are gone, it's really difficult to go into the Promethean Princess for them. Ghostbell and Haunted Mansion, most of the time on the Boro Dragon, and You can even use this on the Hita. So if you've already used Ash Blossom and they try to go Hita, you can Ghost Bell the Hita effect, so they can't special summon your Ash Blossom, and that way they can't get into the Promethean Princess. So if you see that they have to stop, this is definitely a play. Cosmic Cyclone, just good against their monster that they want to summon. The Called By is like, this is a great card going first and going second. Because you can just banish the Promethean Princess, and often they are only playing one, sometimes two, but often one. And the same is for the DD Crows. You can just get rid of their one-offs, which is amazing. Extra deck. The important play that I want to show is IP Masquerena into Boro Dragon. So an easy field that you can make with your combo is, of course, Serra with a rank 4, right? So and your trap. So the thing that you make is Serra, and instead of going into a rank 4, you make IP Masquerena, and you have your trap. Now, if, like, for instance, it's a Holotea, like any trap, it doesn't matter. So let's say Gravediggers. It's the easiest. You're going to trigger the Gravedigger's trap hole somewhere in their turn, and the Serra is going to trigger. Now, Serra effect, let's say you just summon Dionea. Okay. Dionea effect, you reset the Gravediggers. Serra effect, you can set another trap from your deck, so you're setting the Holotea. Now you get 2 traps already. Masquerena effect. And you link all of these away. Let's put these back immediately. And you're summoning the Boro Dragon. Now, why is Boro Dragon made with IP Masquerena so important? Boro Dragon has a line on it where it says, neither player can target this card with monster effects. Oh my! No SP Little Knight to target the Boro Dragon. No Flamber Dragon to target the Boro Dragon. Even if you go against Fire King, the Kirin effect, it cannot destroy this. Even though it doesn't target, IP Masquerena makes sure where is it? That the Boro Dragon cannot be destroyed by card effects. So this can't be destroyed by card effects, and you can't target monster effects. So the only outs that they have for a Boro Dragon, they are really convoluted outs. So they can imperm it, and then they can target it with monster effects. So there's always that. They can try to triple tactic talents it, so to take it. That's always a thing, of course. But they need to have the null engine, of course, then. In their archetype related stuff, they don't really have an out for this, for the Masquerena Boro. And that's actually something that I try to work towards, because it's really good to have this. And the generic outs that they do have in their deck are mostly in their extra deck. So they can go into, I'll also put them on the screen. They have the Zelantis, because the Zelantis just banishes everything on the field, resummons it, and then Boro kind of forgets that it's made with Masquerena. They have the Salamangrate Link 4, the Raging Phoenix, I believe it's called, which can attack over Boro Dragon. And they maybe have an Access Code Talker, which can attack over Boro Dragon. Now, the thing with those, you can easily stop them, because they cannot target this, they cannot destroy it by card effect, so they have to go to the battle phase. And if they go to the battle phase, you can just Holotea, summon Pudica, banish the one card. The Zelantis isn't a quick effect, so as soon as it's summoned, you can just Holotea, Pudica, banish it. Stuff like that. If they try to use Zelantis and you have Traptrix Trap All Nightmare, this is an amazing option just to stop that card. And then, of course, standard things, Veiler, Imperm on the Access Code Talker, on the Zelantis actually work. The Link 4, the Salamangrate one, when it returns from... It only gets its attack boost when it returns from the graveyard if something is destroyed. So you can just DD Crow it, you can Call by the Grave it, you can Ghost Bell it, and you basically stop their monster that can out the Boro Dragon. And this is really great, because if you attack with it, you just take their monsters, you can just play from there. This is an excellent combo to go from. Now you might think, oh, but the Flamber Dragon is also 3000, they can just summon that, crash into the Boro Dragon, get back 2 monsters, go from there. No, because Boro Dragon also has an effect where it can target a monster and make it lose 500 attack. So there's nothing in their entire engine that actually just runs over this. So they have to go into their powerful Link 4 monsters and you just stop that one. Now, something that I do have to say, some players are playing the Goddess of the Underworld. That gets rid of Boro Dragon, of course. That's a thing. You won't be able to stop that, of course. Like, even purely players cannot stop that. There is this one Snake Eye card that targets and then puts it in the spell and trap zone. That's also an out for this, but hardly anyone is playing that. It could come up where people are playing it more, but I have to see about that. I actually had that one game where my opponent had that to out this, so it was actually kind of funny. I was playing that, but I mean, in general, this is my game plan against Snake Eye and against Fire King. So yeah, just protect the Boro Dragon at that point. Now then, Fire Kings. Now, Fire Kings, they don't differ much from the actual Snake Eyes build. Both in going first and going second, it's almost the same. The only thing that I do want to change, like going first is the same. Like you take out the Fantastical Dragon Phantasmace, you take out the Cosmics. You don't even have to take out the Cosmics because hitting the Fire King Island is actually a good thing. But if you stop their plays, they don't even get to Fire King Island, so there's always that. So you can, like, going first, you just take these out again. But I do like to keep in the bells at that point, because if you bell the Kirin effect, it's actually safer. The one thing that you want to take out against the Fire King deck is probably the DD Crow at that point. So yeah, like this. And I often even go like with the second DD Crow, because against the actual Fire King build, the DD Crows aren't that great. And at this point you're siding out 6, so you can go with the triple parallel exceed. You can side in the different dimension ground, and you can side in like double trust, like D6 for D6. That's great. It's a thing that you can do. And then going second, which is probably the most important thing. So let's go with this. Against Fire King, I really like to keep in the Cosmic Cyclones going second. It's good against their field spell, and if they side in stuff like anti-spell, summon limits, you just need the Cosmics for that. So there's always that. You just need this. So you stay away from the null engine at that point. Now, but for going second against Fire King, I also like to add in these, the Ghost Mourners, because against Garunix, this is actually really good. You can just stop the Garunix effect in their turn, just turn it off, don't let them get to Kirin. There's always a thing. You can even, you can Skullmeisters for the Kirin effect. It's a really good card, and you could be taking out the DD Crows for like Skullmeisters, maybe 2 copies or something. It's always a thing. So these are all optional, like these 5 and then these 5. So if you really want, you can side in 10 cards against the Fire King matchup, which is crazy because you're already on so much. And at this point, it is just a matter of what cards do you need against that deck. And I often take out 1 Ash because I don't want to draw 2 Ash. I often take out, let's see, the same things that I said before, like the double Prosperity, the 1 Traptrix Rebel Nightmare, the Vesiculo, the second Dionea. Like, these are cards that you can definitely take out. In this matchup, if you're on so much non-engine, you can keep in the Prosperities as well, if you want, because it makes sure that you're getting to your engine. If you're scared that you're not drawing engine, keeping the Prosperities is actually a good thing as well. So let's say you keep these in. We already have these 4. And I'm also going to side out these, like the double DD Crows. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's already 6 cards that we're siding out. So at this point, with the 6, I'm going to siding like the Ghost Mourners, that's 2. I'm going to go with double Skullmeister, that's 4. That's actually enough. 4. Then double soul release, we're on 6. And then we have to see if we want to side in these. And what I often like to do is, yes, I do want these, but it's really difficult because, like, what else are you going to side out? So I do suggest still taking out 1 pot of prosperity at the very least, so you can side in a talents, side in a trust by taking out 1 of the non-engine now. It's definitely needed, so you can take out whatever you want, just not the the Phantasmaes, because they give you more consistency. The 1 prosperity still gives you more consistency, and you can't draw doubles of it. You need this. This is like the minimal amount of engine that you need. So at this point, like, draw and lock is probably a good out for that. And I'm going to leave the second trust. So let's count 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Okay. So going second against the Fire Kings, this is this is the deck. It seems like a weird mishmash because you're playing a lot of two-offs, but it makes sure that you're not drawing into 2 of the same card that you cannot use. So I really don't like drawing 2 Ash going second against Snake Eye. I don't like drawing the 2 Bells, even though it's not that terrible. I don't like drawing double Mourner, double Phantasme, stuff like that. It's really hard, and if you have such a variety in your side deck, why not change it up a little bit where you have all of the different ones and you're still on, like, what is this? You have 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. You have 17 engine cards, which isn't a lot, but because 1 is prosperity and you have the double Phantasme, it's actually worth a shot with that going second against the deck. But your non-engine is crazy. You have 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, 13, 15. You have 17 hand traps and 7 actual board breaker cards. So that's crazy. Yeah, I love it. But against Fire King, this is what I like to do. Going second, like the Skullmeisters, you might think, why are you using the Skullmeisters? The thing is, Kirin is really dangerous. Kirin, the Promethean Princess, is something. Like, you might want to banish the Promethean Princess, of course, so DD Crow could still be better in this, so you could, maybe you could go 1-1 or something, or do other stuff. But to focus on both bases at the same time, the Skullmeister just stops both of the effects. So, I mean, in that regard, this is better. So, yeah. But yeah, that's it for my siding patterns against Fire King and Snake Eye. I already told you guys my game plan against the deck. I kind of just love playing against that deck. It's really difficult to play against it, but if you have a nice balanced hand, like maybe 1 or 2 starters, some hand traps, 1 of the board breakers, it's actually a really good matchup, and it really promotes a good player with this deck. So I don't really mind playing against Snake Eye as well. So yeah, I hope you guys liked this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Ciao!